Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as he travels the Vortex and arrive at episode number 397, Temps United. I'm Keith.
Temps United. I'm Sean.
Temps United. I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
United.
But are we Temps? Aren't we kind of the permanent fixtures here?
That's true.
We can and
well,
will be
we've been
replaced at
temporarily
any time.
We've been temporarily doing this podcast for 6 years.
You guys do anything fun this week?
Don't get too full of yourself, Glenn. That's when they swoop down from management and get you. They'll hire a kiosk to do your job.
We've now hired a full-time employee. Meet the kiosk. Meet Sylvie.
Shouldn't we have an intern first? I feel like we missed a step.
This podcast can't afford an intern. And they're free.
It's true.
What you guys do this week?
I started Iron Fist season
Me
2.
too.
I'm 2 episodes in.
Oh, I got in 5 episodes.
So you're halfway.
Yep. Yeah, because there's only 10 this time.
Yeah. I'm really excited that there's only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, I've always thought all the
I thought you were going to
seasons-
say, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really glad there's only 10 episodes. Oh,
I am enjoying it. Well, I think I'm enjoying it. I don't know. The tonal change is throwing me off.
the storytelling, yeah, I agree. The storytelling, I think, is a lot better.
Yeah.
The acting is a lot better, especially by what's his name plays Danny. It's taking a long time to go anywhere for only being 10 episodes, but
It almost has a...
by 5 it kind of picks up.
It almost doesn't have its own distinct feel enough still. Like Daredevil has its own distinct feel even in season 2. It felt like Daredevil. Jessica Jones has its own distinct feel. Luke Cage has its own distinct feel. And so far for me, this kind of almost feels like Jessica Jones in the pacing and the way it's...
Yeah, I
the
can see
atmosphere and musically, it's just kind of quiet a little bit. I don't know.
I can see that.
It just feels subdued and should be its own thing instead.
I like the lighting choices that they used in this too, though. It's very... I think the look of it's a lot better than the first season.
It's a lot less bland looking.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's vanilla with a little bit of caramel now instead of just plain vanilla. I also watched A Mighty Wind. I didn't like it as much as the other ones.
I like that movie.
I liked Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman better.
See, I felt Waiting for Guffman and Mighty Wind were better than Best in Show. Yeah.
They're different feels for different audiences. Obviously,
Yeah.
a theater kid is going to go Waiting for Guffman as the best of the 3. As a movie fan, I really like.
I still need to see for your consideration.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either. But then A Mighty Wind, I think it's fun. I mean, in the same vein as all of them are fun.
Yeah, I just didn't have as many laughs in it, I think. At least for me.
There's a little more bittersweet humor.
Yeah, maybe that's it. What'd you do?
We had a very full week. We had birthday celebration for Katrina, the older granddaughter. She turned 7. And so there was a party on Saturday. And Mel couldn't go. She already had plans for that day. So then we just decided we were going to take her to Chuck E. Cheese on Sunday. And then Mel and I we got up to season 6 of Voyager. We watched Equinox, which, have you guys seen Equinox?
No.
Wow. I had never seen that one before. And it's hands down so far the best episode of Voyager I've seen yet.
Agree.
It's also the perfect counter argument for why Star Trek Discovery sucks. I watched a movie too, but I don't remember what it was now. Anyway, what'd you do?
You watch anything
I watched
else?
some movies. Keeping up with the Grown Up Kids podcast, I watched 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, which I had seen before. I have seen a few times before, actually.
That's a good one.
But man, that thing, from being released in 1954, so still holds up for today. It's so good, the quality of that movie. And then watched David Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier, which I honestly don't think I'd seen since probably I was in high school, maybe. So it's been more than 20 years since I'd seen that. And then we watched Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Oh, what'd you think?
It's they really are just going by the template of first film deals with this, second film deals with this. I know what the third film's going to be now if they decide to keep up the tradition, but it just you said it best. It goes from being a Jurassic Park film into just like a scary monster film. There's too much focus on the one monster.
It's not the right kind of monster.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was okay. It was enjoyable.
It's got some interesting ideas in it.
Yeah, it's fun, but I don't know. I didn't need dinosaurs roaming around a large mansion. It was just. That was it. That was all I watched this week. All right, what do we got in the news, Keith?
Well, we're going to start with some sad news. Jacqueline Pierce has passed away. She's best known as the main villain Servalan in Blake 7, but she has been in Doctor Who, both in Big Finish and televised Doctor Who. I'm trying to pull up her character's name from the two Doctors. Cassini, yes. But I most notably remember her as Orlista. No. How do you say it? Alystra.
Yeah.
Cardinal Alystra from the War Doctor box sets.
She's really good.
Who was really good in it, yeah. She kind of almost steals the show from John Hurt. If it weren't John Hurt, she'd steal the show.
I don't know that I go that far, but she's really, really good.
And a great foil.
Yes.
So that's unfortunate.
She's kind of an anti-villain in it, or anti-hero, I suppose, in the box set. But
sometimes a reluctant hero, sometimes an adversary.
Yeah.
I look forward to listening to those.
Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah. So that's too bad that we won't get to have her back in any capacity.
That means her and John Hurt now have passed.
Yeah. How about some happy news?
Sure.
We got a release date for Series 11.
Yay!
Sunday.
We finally know how we're going to work the schedule.
When is Easter Saturday?
Sunday, October
It's the last time
7th.
I'm going to use that joke. I'm so glad that's over.
You're so glad that's over because I was right. That's the only reason.
No, because now every time
been
you
going
use
on
it,
for so
any
long.
new listener comes in is completely lost, and you've alienated audience members. That's not cool.
No, I've dropped a breadcrumb to an Easter egg that they need. And now they need to go back and listen to all the shows to figure out where that came from.
Well, we're done with that joke. So,
Because it's a Sunday now.
if you say Easter Sunday, it's really lost.
Yeah, no, I can't.
It doesn't work then.
Don't be silly. I can't do that. I don't like it.
I knew you wouldn't.
There's nothing you've liked about
The first,
the series.
we have an episode title. Do you like that?
I do like that.
The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
I'll like it even more if the entire series is David Bowie rips.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Not only is it airing on Sunday, October 7th, BBC America has confirmed that the first episode will air in the U.S. at the exact same time as it's shown in the U.K.
I think this is the first time they've done that since Day of the Doctor.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
like, what, 2 in the afternoon?
2 in the afternoon, and then it will get a repeat in prime time.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is really cool.
Yeah. I'm just excited we know now when it's coming back.
And
I'm sorry. I don't. This is a small matter. Probably doesn't matter. But do you happen to list there Australia?
Australia still has not been. Oh wait, no, it's Canada that hasn't been announced yet.
I don't see Australia here. However, I do know they're getting a cinema release.
Reese was complaining that with moving it to Sunday and the fact that they're on the other side of the date line, does that mean it's going to be a Monday show, or are they going to be held back a week
Oh, right.
in order for it to air on
Yeah.
Sunday proper?
Yeah.
I didn't know if that had specified.
That did not.
I was just curious.
But we got a teaser, too.
We didn't get a teaser.
A nice tongue-in-cheek teaser.
10-second thing.
A whole 10-second thing of nothing. It's like the first teaser where it's no actual content from the season.
Have you seen the
I didn't
meme?
like it.
Have you seen the meme out there that's going around? What's got David Tennant's 10th Doctor falling from the spaceship, going through the glass ceiling, and then landing on the ground, and then Jodie walking up and going, "Oops."
I have not seen that. That's pretty good.
That's fairly awesome.
No, I like the subtle
like
message that's there. I think that's well appropriate
And I like the
meta.
song in it. I kind of hope that comes back at some point in the show. I thought it was a nice fit for the theme of things.
I would agree.
the apparent theme of things, I should say. Because who knows with a teaser.
Sean didn't like it because it was too clever.
It was almost too clever.
Yeah, well, no, it was just too on the nose. Who knows?
It was too clever.
I just don't like teasers. If you really
You
want
weren't
to
that impressed by the trailer either.
well, no, I wasn't. But because, again, it's if you want to impress me, do like a mini-sode. Those impress me. Those are always like, ooh, what is going on?
Well,
all of these things are just random images cut together. I mean, it might be a music video for all the impact
I think
it
number
has.
one, you're going at it the wrong way, and number two, we're guilty of steering it that direction because Keith keeps calling it a teaser. It's not a teaser. This is a date announcement.
Yeah, that's true.
A teaser would have been the very first thing that came out. This is a date announcement. That's simply all this is.
And the first one technically wasn't a teaser either. It was a character, an actor announcement.
Well, I meant the one out. There was one in between that and the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
There was an actual teaser that came
one.
out.
Yeah, they don't tease me. They just annoy me.
Again,
I'm going
not
to call,
a teaser.
I'm going to call them annoyers.
I think if you had seen that with the date announcement before you knew the date, maybe you'd have been a little more impressed just by the fact that the excitement. Oh, there's the date.
Yeah,
so I think
was
that's
kind of surprised
that's
they
the idea.
announced the date before they released the video.
Yeah.
Oops.
Well,
here's this.
It is BBC. So.
That's what she was making reference to. That's why it's too meta.
Whoops, you already know.
2 dates.
And I think it's cool. It just generates more excitement for me that we only have to wait a few more weeks.
Indeed. BBC America has announced a 13-day marathon for the new series.
Yay.
Again.
Because I don't already own all of them on Blu-ray.
But you can just pop on BBC America anytime
right,
in those 13 days. And
if there's any listener
it's kind of like
out
any
there,
marathon they've done leading up to any new season.
If there's any listener out there who, for whatever reason, has missed a Doctor or a chunk of a Doctor, avail yourself of this opportunity and go back and watch them. I mean,
or if you know somebody who...
Or if you have
is
Amazon
interested in
Prime,
the
just
show.
go watch them on Amazon Prime. Everything's there from the new series, except for Twice Upon a Time.
Yeah.
I was going to go watch it the other day, and I was like...
You can pay for it.
It's
just
not there.
on Prime.
Yeah, I'm going to pay for it. If I'm going to pay for anything, I'll buy the Blu-ray.
don't you have that one on Blu-ray?
No, I didn't buy it because I bought the box set for season 10, and I knew it wasn't on there, but everything has been in box sets, and so I thought this will be the one where I'll go. Well, with the exception of Day of the Doctor,
Time of the Doctor.
Yeah, Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor. I'll go out and I'll buy the Blu-ray, and then they'll release it on the front end of her series because it was the first episode she was in, and so I thought, well, I guess I could wait and see.
I have a feeling it's going to be a standalone Blu-ray.
I have a feeling it will be too. Especially since they've set a precedent with Day of the Doctor and
and it's such
Time of the
a...
Doctor.
Because they rushed to get the season 10 Blu-ray out, I think they normally would have included it on the tail end of...
I'm not sure
that
they would
box
because
set.
no, I don't think so because Dr. Mysterio was on the front end of it, so they wouldn't typically put 2 Christmas specials.
There's a Tenet box set that has 2.
Which one? The only one I could think would be maybe his
the
first
specials.
season. The only
Cheating.
the only one I could think would be his first season, series 2.
I think Runaway Bride is on season 3.
I think you're right.
But there
It
is
starts
one
with Runaway Bride.
we've gotten the 2 Christmas specials in a Matt Smith run, but it was in the middle of the run.
It was on season 3. Runaway Bride was on season 3. Yeah.
And 4
Just
opens
because
with
it's
Voyage
the
of the
Capaldi.
Damned.
If they hadn't rushed to get season 10 out in time for Christmas, I think they would have included it just because it's Capaldi's final story.
Yeah, probably.
But they wanted to get the box set out in time
Although
for Christmas.
Matt
So-
Smith's final story is a standalone. So.
Yeah, but they didn't include Day of the Doctor in the previous box set, so you kind of
Yeah, I
can't
suppose
skip
that's
over
true.
Day of the
I
Doctor.
suppose that's true.
Or, and this is probably the most
Which
likely
would have been
explanation.
what would have been cooler is if they would released those in a box set with An Adventure in Time and Space
Yes.
and Night of the Doctor, because that was, or not Night of the Doctor, yeah, Night of the Doctor
and the 5-ish
and the
Doctors.
5-ish.
and the 5-ish Doctor reboot, because that's what they did in the UK, but they didn't do that in the United States.
Yeah.
That was why I took so long buying those DVDs because I thought, or those Blu-rays, because I thought, oh, I'll just buy them when they release it here in the States, and they never did. They totally missed a trick.
I think
Yeah,
what
they
is
did.
probably more likely is that they released Day of the Doctor and Time separately, and then got a taste for people will pay for individual episodes, huh?
Well, they got a taste of breaking up the season early. I think they part 1 and part 2.
Oh, and then they went back and did that for every season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is they realized that was a thing. That
Some
people are
bean
gonna
counters going, well, technically the Christmas special isn't part of the season. It is a special. So,
But then they also went and released Dark Water, Death in Heaven as its own standalone, and Deep Breath as its own standalone.
that's just
Blu-ray.
being greedy.
Yeah.
do. Well, and I'm hoping that kind of backfired on them, and
They kind of pared back on that because
Yeah.
there wasn't any for season 10.
I'm kind of hoping
they did
that backfired.
part 1 and 2, but that was it.
Actually, that may not have been greed. That may have been trying to inflate because there was a little bit of a ratings drop. Not a huge ratings drop like some people, oh my God, the show's dying. But there was a ratings drop going from Matt Smith to Capaldi. So maybe that was their attempt to kind of artificially prop that up some.
That, or I think they were counting. This goes back to greed, though. I think they were counting those instant gratification people, and I think there were a lot of those that had expendable income
pretty quickly.
But I just think that people have kind of learned that they can wait a bit now. So
well, and plus, when you can get it for the instant gratification, you can get it streaming.
Yeah, you
and
turn around
pay
and buy
for
it
it
on
instead of buying it on
iTunes.
Blu-ray. Then those people aren't going to go buy the Blu-rays anyways. They're just going to get the streaming because they
Right.
don't have to wait to go to the store.
Well, and now that we have, it's on Amazon Prime, it's on Hulu, it's on this, it's on, with all of the different, it's on BritBox or, whatever it is.
It's not BritBox.
Not BritBox,
It's
but
not
I
on
mean,
BritBox.
Well, classic is. But,
with all of the different delivery options for getting it digitally, is that impacting the sales numbers as well?
Oh, I'm sure it does. In fact, I'm pretty sure that impacts why we're not going to get a Blu-ray version of Shada here either. So
you think they canceled it altogether?
Blu-ray? They never.
Or was it only DVD?
Yeah, there's never been a release
I thought it was
for
a Blu-ray.
No, there's a region free you can buy that's
Right.
already out, but they've not planned for a Blu-ray. The only pre-sales right now are DVD.
I didn't realize that.
Maybe they'll just include it with the season, whatever Tom said.
They might end up doing that, but again, that's going to be years down the road. So,
Yeah.
although at the rate that they're releasing a Peter Davison series right after on the heels of Tom Baker, that's encouraging that maybe they'll go to 2 or 3 a year. So we'll see.
Who knows?
Who knows? Is that it for news?
One other little bit of news. The 13th Doctor joins the world of Roger Hargraves as Dr. 13th. So they're doing a nice hardcover edition, special edition for the 13th Doctor. And then there's going to be a paperback so you can match it with all the other
That
ones.
wasn't on the list earlier, Keith. You
No,
just
I
threw
stuck
that
it on
in.
there.
Just throwing me off.
I don't like it.
Well, of course
So
you
I
don't,
looked at
'cause
the
it's the
picture
13th
and it
Doctor.
threw me at first until I went and looked at the other art, and then I was okay with it.
That's what happened to me too, honestly. when I saw it in the
Where's her
I was-
coat? She's naked.
I was like,
Oh wait, no, all of them don't have
Oh,
clothes,
yeah.
what is that?
with the exception of Peter Pertwee's cape. That's the one, and the scarf. That's
Right.
the 2 items of clothing anyone
Right.
ever has.
Pretty cool.
On
for,
the bright
for
side,
those people that collect that.
I
I'm
don't
waiting
have
for
to
it.
look at those
That's the
ugly
last one I'm
culottes.
missing. What?
On the bright side, I don't have to look at those ugly culottes.
That's true. See,
That's
Sean
not
will
true.
like that.
That's
version.
not true because they're not ugly. So
He doesn't have to look at the culottes.
there you go. That's the statement.
They're too short.
All right.
Here
Well,
they are so short they disappeared.
don't forget, you can subscribe and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, the Google Play Store. We're also available on Stitcher, Player FM, and you can listen to us on TuneIn. And if you have a Amazon Alexa device, you can ask Alexa to play Traveling the Vortex on TuneIn.
Oh,
Nice.
really?
Yeah. All right. Well, is there any feedback this week, Keith?
There is no feedback.
Oh, well, people might want to know how to contact us.
So you can go to our website, travelingthevortex.com, and fill out the Send Us Feedback tab, or reach out to us on any form of social media.
Cool. Let's do some reviews.
What are we doing first, guys?
Doctor Order.
Technophobia.
Technophobia.
I'm going companion order at this point. so-
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
It's chronological still.
Right.
I'll buy that.
When the Doctor and Donna visit London's Technology Museum for a glimpse into the future, things don't go to plan. The most brilliant IT brain in the country can't use her computer. More worryingly, the exhibits are attacking the visitors, while outside people seem to be losing control of the technology that runs their lives. Is it all down to simple human stupidity, or is something more sinister going on? Beneath the streets, the cognoscenti are waiting for all of London to fall prey to technophobia.
Bum, bum, bum.
That is not how I would have spelled cognoscenti. Koggnossenti.
Which I thought they were making a play on words on cognizant. So
that's the way
I
they
would
pronounced
never have
it.
spelled it that way
Yeah.
either. So, I liked this story, and the interesting thing is I listened to this a couple years back when it came out,
As did I.
and loved it. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. Felt very 10th Doctor and Donna, but I wonder if part of that had to do with the fact that this was the first 10th Doctor and Donna story in new media, or in different, or returning to media. And I thought, aside from print media, but like audio or video media.
Right.
And I kind of wondered if maybe that was going to maybe taint my expectations of it and make me more excited. So going back this time, I thought, well, this would be a good experiment. Listening to it again, I enjoyed it just as much.
I did too.
But for the reason that it is, again, 10th Doctor and Donna, and they don't miss a beat. They pick right up where they left off. And neither one of them sound any different. Of course, neither one of them are very much older than they were when they were portraying these characters anyway. But their chemistry, and I think that they were right to start with Catherine Tate and David Tennant, because they have such a rapport together, and they have such chemistry, and they're good friends, and they play off of each other very well. And so I think that works really well. Also, the other thing that I like about this story is it's a simple story. We don't say, they don't go, oh, we got David Tennant, so we've got to write a really big, bang up, complex, mind-blowing story. No, they said, what would the 10th Doctor and Donna do in an episode of Doctor Who in 2007, 2008? And they write it that way, and it feels like it could just be plopped right down in the middle of Series 4. And I love that about it. It was a lot of fun. Now, that's not to say that I wouldn't want to see them later do, or even in the next couple, have a more complex story with them at some point. And I'm tipping my hand, but one of them does get a little more complex. But I think it was a nice work into that. And I think that's what I enjoyed most about this, is they didn't set the bar too high for this first story. I'm not saying it's a low bar set, because it's a good story. It's not complicated, but it's interesting. It's fun. There's a lot of neat things going on here.
It feels like it squarely fits within the era. I mean, it feels like it could easily slip in the fourth season, no problem. And it, like you said, they don't miss a beat. And it's this style of storytelling that people love so much from David Tennant's run, and that they were smart to go that direction. You got to start with what's familiar before you can do something bold and different and more complex.
When it started, and first of all, cutscene, okay, or cold open, whatever those are called, and then new theme music, and it was just like, oh, because you guys know me. I was, yeah, all right, cool. And then David Tennant and Catherine Tate. And the wave of nostalgia was like a warm blanket. It was just like, old friends, yay! I don't care, this is going to be awesome. And it was. It was so very much in that period of the 10th Doctor and Donna. And then the story unfolded, and it kind of did its thing. And you're right, it's a very simple little story.
But a clever idea, I think.
It's a clever idea. But I think this is one of those that it's all nostalgia for me. I think this is one that is not going to hold up nearly as well on a re-listen, because I think I will start to pull at those threads that maybe the nostalgia is keeping me from, just because, oh, I'm happy to have the 10th Doctor and Donna back together for more stuff. And the fact that it is kind of a simplified story is, and again, not that that's bad. You're absolutely right. Everything you said about easing people into it and we're going to gear up to something bigger later. But right now we just want to, and there's nothing wrong with the occasional nothing really happens in this one. In fact, I don't even think anybody dies, do they?
Yeah.
No.
The one guy in the elevator.
Well, but we don't know if he
yeah.
died because he says he just shut down. He was like comatose. They never really addressed it to see if he
Yeah, I don't
snapped
think
back
he did.
after they shut the machine off.
I
But
got the
I
impression
mean, Jill,
that he was
it her
dead.
name? Jill came back from. Of course, she wasn't quite as far, and the doctor was saying, "Stay with me." So, he kept goading her on to stay.
Right,
So
yeah.
maybe he did die. But
I got the impression that the one chick checked his pulse.
oh, maybe she did.
and
I just missed it.
and so he didn't even go try.
Maybe that's why the doctor was like, no more.
Yeah.
This ends
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That could
yeah,
be it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Doctor Who story with a very low body count.
Well, yeah. Regardless.
Yeah.
And it's...
Well, no, because all of the what are they called?
Cognoscenti.
we don't count them.
Gone.
And
Every one of them on that ship.
a very...
We don't know how many there were.
A
so.
very simple resolution to the problem. We're going to reverse the polarity and turn the machine back on you. Oh, who didn't see that coming? I mean, it was really telegraphed.
That's what the 10th Doctor does best.
But again, yeah. And what I found really interesting was there were so many retrodden steps, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but really reaching for that period time feel of being able to drop this episode in at any point in time in that season. There were even a couple of Tennant is spouting dialogue at 90 miles an hour, and the music score behind him is too loud, and I can't make it out. There were even a couple of those moments in the story, and I was just like, I'm home. This is, Doctor Who's back on. I'm just in the other room making tea instead of sitting in front of the TV.
Well, if that was purposeful, then somebody else must have recognized that the score was too loud during time. I don't think so. I
never noticed that in
ever
this
been
time.
drowned out by the
I think it was almost too clever. But no, it's just it's a pretty straightforward little tale. I mean, I like the idea of the cognoscenti that they're, oh yeah, we're invading your planet, but why bring a bunch of war machines when we can just make you stupid?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's kind of a cool, nutty Doctor Who idea.
Well, I like that it has a bit of a statement on, the new tech and how everybody is so tech wrapped up.
Which almost feels obsolete at this point.
One thing I did consider, though, it does almost. One thing I did consider, though, is that Keith and I probably would go dumber faster than you because I got the impression that if you had a lower aptitude for technology, that
You
the
were more
process was
resistant.
slower. So, Sean,
Donna made it almost to the end.
be glad to know that Keith and I would go dumb far long
And the
before
one guy
you did.
didn't
So
have any
there's
issues at all. So.
there is one benefit to being technical Neanderthal.
That's
so.
right. I will be driving trains into the headquarters to save everybody, which in and of itself is a rather frightening prospect.
If anybody here could do it, you could.
I'm going to choose to take that as a compliment. I'm not going to say I've never wrecked a train before, but no, it just it plays out, it does its thing, and it's done. I was like, okay, cool. I really want to listen to the next one now because it's like,
And that's what this should do, is make you want to listen to more.
Yeah. Of all things, that's what this one definitely does. Now, I don't think they're going to have any problem selling
No, I don't think so
10
either.
Doctor audios.
And it was a box set, so
Yeah.
you don't really have a choice.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
true.
you don't have to listen, but
Well, I think you
bought it all.
You can buy them individually
Could you
if you
buy
download
them
them
digitally?
Yeah. So
Well,
I just-
and
No, go
that,
ahead.
and imagine if I were a Big Finish, I would want an initial story to ease those who haven't listened to audio stories before into it.
yeah, because you're going to have a lot of fans
Because
of
it's
the 10th Doctor. Yeah.
jumping on for Big Finish and learning what it's about because it's the 10th Doctor. And so you're smart to do a simpler story to get them into it and used to doing it so they can then later handle the more complex stories.
it's Rogue One.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, we're going to do standalone Star Wars stories. Oh, okay, cool. What are we going to start with? Something you're very familiar with.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep you coming back. Okay.
Yeah,
And again, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that.
Well, the good news is the second one was not solo, so
But I liked Solo.
I did too. So Maybe that is a bad comparison because I like the second story in this set.
So here's an interesting fact. Originally, the story was intended to be about sleep deprivation. However, Big Finish sent the script over to Cardiff and learned about Sleep No More.
Oh.
I bet this would have been much better than Sleep No More.
Much better than Sleep No More.
Yeah, well.
I thought that was interesting.
Oh, now I'm angry.
Well, but I'm kind of glad because I like the technology aspect of it too. I think maybe this might have been one of those situations where it worked out for the better.
Yeah, probably.
So we can thank Mark
Except
Gatiss.
we still got
the one
Sleep
thing
No
we
More.
can thank Mark Gatiss for doing with Sleep No More was pushing this over to be probably a better story. Well, we know it was a better story than Sleep No More, but improving upon itself anyway. So. Very good. Well, Sean, are you excited to hear more than 10th Doctor audios?
I am.
Well, you're always excited to hear any new Doctor Who audios.
I'm excited to hear more audios. I'm excited to hear more Catherine Tate. I'm excited to hear more David. Like I said, it's one of those strange things that for as popular a Doctor as he is and was, anytime they did something extra, it didn't matter to me that it was extra. It was like, ooh, there's more 10th Doctors. And you know, you guys know me. I love Tennant, but he's not my Doctor. He's just a Doctor. And I kind of like to think that I feel that way about any of them, unless it's a teaser. And so, you know, do I want to hear more? Yeah, I totally want to hear more. But that also comes from the fact that I really, 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 really love Donna Noble. And that I think of that time frame, she's probably my favorite companion. And then having met Catherine Tate adds an extra level of cool factor on it. So that big fuzzy nostalgia blanket's just getting all kinds of bigger and drowning out the sound of a mediocre story.
Well, I think they did right in their portrayal of Donna, of where they placed her. It wasn't so close to the beginning that she was kind of almost the runaway bride, Donna. And she was kind of a bit more of the middle of the season feel to her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but I think Partners in Crime, I think, is maybe where you're more landing on. Because she definitely wasn't. She had already evolved as a character
she had grown,
between Runaway Bride and Partners in Crime. But but I think you're meaning somewhere between those two. Yeah.
She's way further away from Runaway Bride than
End of Time.
It would be really interesting for later Donna Noble to meet Runaway Bride Donna Noble.
Journey's End. Sorry.
I would be really curious to see the fireworks from that one. Because I think modern Donna Noble would be like, oh my God, was I really like that? And then it would be going, yes. Yes, you were.
I still want Lucy Miller to meet Donna Noble. I think that would be great.
Well, maybe.
I think Donna Noble would really like the Eighth Doctor.
Yeah.
When you say really like the Eighth Doctor.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Probably too, yeah. That's certainly true.
The through line of the joke. Are you two? Oh, no.
Nice continuation from the
Nice
series.
continuation of that several times throughout that. And them both struggling to step over that elephant in the room. It's like, no. Well, no. A lot of fun moments.
Anything else to say about Technophobia? Let's move on to the comic books. We're going to finish out year 3 of the 10th Doctor's era.
Facing Fates Volume 3, Second Chances. The Vortex Butterflies trilogy reaches its game-changing conclusion with devastating consequences for Gabby, Cindy, and the Doctor. Will they all make it out in one piece, or will the fate of these beloved companions be changed forever?
Is it devastating consequences, or is it really just kind of a devastating potential of a situation? I mean, I didn't feel that there were any consequences by the time they wrapped this thing up, but
I suppose
only from it's from a certain point of view, because as far as the Doctor and Cindy and everyone on the TARDIS is aware, Gabby's gone forever. only we as readers and future Doctor know that she is rescued.
Oh, I suppose that's true. Yeah.
So when you think of it from that perspective,
I would agree then with that. Yeah. Although, don't you suppose that
I imagine they're
the
going to
10th
reunite
Doctor
at some
must have known that must have had that potential that she wasn't dead, because don't you get the impression that the 12th Doctor was waiting for her, which we finally get the resolution to that, or the lead up to that resolution that we got. Yeah,
the back half of the beginning.
Yeah, the back half of the beginning. Wasn't the 12? Do I remember that right? 12 was almost like he was waiting there for her.
Yeah, there was a line of dialogue that was about something about I've always left the door open for you.
It makes me wonder if 10 didn't think maybe the worst had happened.
So we don't see their reaction to losing her.
Right, which I was grateful for.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
Long story short.
So here's a funny story. I was really confused when I made the joke Doctor Order, as I wasn't joking, because I read the 11th Doctor comics for this week and not the 10th. Oh. And you said you were going in companion order. And I went,
oh, wait a minute. You didn't even read these?
Well, yeah, that I suppose that also works. And then I got that tickle in the back of my brain going, oh, you did the wrong homework, didn't you?
Oh, you got ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself.
So no,
I didn't read. I just tonight when we sat down and got into the podcast realized that I'd read the wrong ones.
Oh, yeah, you read the wrong ones. Well.
Spoilers.
Have you read the 11th Doctor ones?
No, I have not.
We could just, oh, darn. I've already read those two, so we can just knock those all out this week.
I haven't got to those two yet.
Well, Keith and I...
By all means, continue. I'll sit here and listen.
Keith and I will wax poetic about this finale to series, or year 3 of the comics. I like the fact that there's going to be a lot of spoilers here. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I like the fact that they brought Cleo back.
Yes.
And that she summons them to Earth because of some cataclysmic event that's going to happen. The Time Sentinels, which that's been a through part since quite a bit of the year, but I think they're more realized here. I don't know what to think of them, because
I don't know what to think of them either.
It's a convenient villain created because there's a void left after Gallifrey's been time locked, and so they are there mopping up loose time streams and correcting things that are wrong, or tying up the loose ends. And it seems to me that I get the impression that they were placed as a failsafe for the Time Lords, but they're kind of doing this of their own version. Obviously, Sentinel Red is doing
right.
This
he's gone rogue.
Yeah, but it just
are they part of the Shadow Proclamation, or is it?
No, they drop a lot of Time Lord technology references. So I get the impression that they were left by the Time Lords.
I don't know that they were left. Yeah, well, yes, I suppose that's certainly true too, but I don't think it was even like they intentionally put them into service. But it seems to me that they were a failsafe if anything were to happen to Gallifrey.
Yeah, that kind of impression comes. Either that or they were... It's not very clear what they were.
That's not.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
The only other thing I can think of is the fact that maybe they're there to do the menial aspect of things.
And they were
tidying
elevated,
up time,
and they were elevated to a higher status because of the fact
that I can buy.
Okay,
because even in the end days, I refuse to believe that Rassilon
believed that they would be defeated.
He's Grand Moff Tarkin. Evacuate in our moment of triumph. There's no way he would have put a contingency plan in place to keep mopping things up if Gallifrey fell. He was willing to end the universe.
Well, but you also have to remember, though, that Rassilon was out of the picture for a while because they resurrected Rassilon for the Time Lord. So these could have been in place in the times between. One of the other Time Lord presidents could have set this system up. So.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I believe that they probably were already in place,
in fact,
taking care of things.
That did it.
There you go. Or Flavia.
Or Flavia. Actually, Flavia makes more sense.
Yeah.
These
She's
were
a woman. She's got to be smart.
This was an entity, an organization that was put up, and look at me trying to explain it, and I haven't read it, that was set up because the CIA couldn't be bothered to fix things. They were too busy breaking things.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were a tool of the CIA, and then because the CIA is in the time lock as well, these sort of took over a bigger purpose or a bigger...
Yeah. It was like Jack and Torchwood. Once they lost one, they were like, well, I guess it's us now.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. That being said, that's what I don't like about the Time Sentinels, because they feel like a manufactured device to fill the void.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. On the other hand, I like them because this is very much classic Doctor Who device to have these, mechanical beings that are in control of tidying up the time stream, even down to their look when they're not shapeshifted.
To me, it really feels like Big Finish. Classic Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It feels like something that Big Finish would do.
But you could even translate. You couldn't translate this story to television.
No,
but you could translate the Time Sentinels to television. It would fall in that realm of kind of esoteric, the Eternals and that kind of thing. You have to kind of stretch your imagination a little bit, but the design of them is like totally
so basic.
Hey, we could do this. So that I kind of like, even down to the one. What did they call the big one that kind of controls them all?
Oh, what was its name?
The big yellow one with all the orbs around it. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway,
the head one.
Yeah. Even down to that, I think they could have done that. So it harkens back to a little bit of nostalgia and being this story of just that element of it going, well, this feels very classic Doctor Who here. So I kind of gave up the fact that I didn't like the Time Sentinels of the past because they got that. Cindy and the Doctor leaving at the beginning, I was a little... even though they were just off to run an errand to get a part, I kind of felt after all that we had just gone through with Cindy and her future self, and having to close off that reality from happening and bringing Cindy to, train to use her powers, I think them sneaking off to me was a little unsettling. I think that had they gone to to Gabby and said, we're going to pop off real quick, we'll be right back. That still maybe wouldn't have gone down with Gabby very well, but it just felt disingenuous to go to pop off somewhere else, because they're going to get distracted anytime they leave. They're going to get distracted, and they do. And so I felt that was a little out of character, or maybe a little unsettling. Not really out of character.
Yeah, not out of character at all. I was really disappointed that Nubis' love interest didn't wind up being an actual thing.
I thought so too.
But that was such a cool idea.
On the other hand,
a great way to write that character off.
Yeah, well, that's just
what else are you going to do with him?
I'm very 50-50 on this whole story arc, because that was another thing. I thought the same thing. I thought, that just felt kind of like we don't know what to do with this character, so let's write her off. On the other hand, I was taken completely by surprise by that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even suspect when she was telling Anubis, oh, you don't really have these friends, they're imaginary, that she was baiting him into bringing them to him. And so that surprised me. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, so that's different. So again, that was another little, what I took away from that was, okay, that surprised me, so that worked for me. But yeah, I kind of was sad about that.
I've got to give them big props for the intricacy of weaving all of these stories together into one, because the fact that they laid down
bringing it all full circle,
and how they all intertwined everything together to come together at the end. I just don't know if I really liked how it happened. It doesn't really, even though the Time Sentinel threat is over, it doesn't really, maybe because of the cliffhanger ending, it doesn't really feel like the story is resolved.
Well, the Red TARDIS, in my opinion, even though Gabby presumably sacrifices herself for the big climactic ending. The red TARDIS still doesn't feel like it's out of the picture.
No.
Which I'm okay with creating an ending like that so that you can bring something like that back. But on the other hand, the red TARDIS. Yeah, the red TARDIS has been my least exciting thing about this year. And I'm like you. I'm kind of done with it now. So I don't.
I'm ready for the story. I'm not ready for the companions to be gone, but I'm ready for the story arc to be fully done.
I would agree.
It doesn't feel like it is.
Exploring Cindy and Cleo's relationship.
Yeah,
wow.
And addressing the fact that Cindy actually loves Gabby and not in a friendship way.
Right, exactly. She'd never be able to have
there.
the relationship that she wants. With.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting twist. The greatest thing of all about this story, though, was the Gabby having that inner dialogue about the Doctor and traveling with him and having a companion. He needs somebody there, and showing us the faces of past companions.
I knew you were going to go there.
Seeing Frobisher.
And Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie too. I was like, oh wow.
I kind of expected Frobisher.
We're going to take all of it.
Because,
you did?
Well,
it's comics. But
yeah, I was kind of surprised to see Charlie though.
Well,
and I had such an eye roll when it was Billy Piper that showed up. My eyes rolled. I thought my eyes were going to roll out of my head.
See, I didn't have a problem with it because she shows up as
Bad
Wolf, and it's almost they take this as almost a preceding of Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, they do.
Of how she's always been watching over him, even before the event that locked off Gallifrey, and so I kind of liked the message that was there. Yeah, as soon as I saw her, I was like, oh yeah, Sean and Keith are going to hate this, but I liked it.
I was glad she was at least the Bad Wolf character instead of Rose, but it was like, oh, really? You couldn't come up with somebody else to do this with?
And they never dropped the Rose line, so I thought that worked out.
Which was nice.
I don't think it would have had the connection, though. You couldn't have done it with anybody else. I mean, I know...
There's no connection between her and Gabby, though, other than
but there's the connection to the Doctor. You had to have somebody monumental in the Doctor's life, and I think having the interface be that, I think with Rose's face, I think that's what makes it kind of pulls it up into a nice little moment. Excuse the pun, for the story at the end. So no, I liked that. I thought it was fine.
So let's get to the chase. I've been postulating since issue 1 that there is some greater force at work with Gabby and the art, and then all of a sudden the superpowers and the butterflies. Do we get that resolved at least before she disappears or not?
Not.
No, she's just learning to control her powers.
She's come back to the gal where she was, where the two robotic servant things that went crazy, the artists, and that's what ended up imbuing her with the powers. They've come back to her in order for her to learn how to control her powers now. So they brought that nicely back around, but no, they didn't.
There's at least one more year worth of stories then that are planned, I would think.
Well, no, because I don't think. I think that was something that you.
I don't think they're going to take these vortex butterflies away from Gabby.
Yeah,
I think it's just something she's going to have.
You kind of fabricated the art and music thing to a point that you felt like they were going somewhere with it, and I think the last two stories have backed off of that, and so I've changed my mind that they weren't going down that path.
I agree, but for a series that over 3 years has brought Anubis and Cleo and all these different characters back repeatedly, we keep bumping into these same set of characters in different stories within the confines of this run. I don't think it's dropped yet. I don't know.
I think they're bringing them back because they want to keep them on the forefront of your mind, especially since they were going to wrap this series up the way they did. Or these 3 years up the way they did, so
maybe not.
Because they explained that the vortex butterflies are basically what block transfer computation.
Yeah,
she has that power. It's mathematics. It doesn't have anything to do with art. So, I don't think they're going that direction. I don't think they've left anything open there. Now, I may be wrong, but we may be coming back next year if we read year 4. But, yeah, I don't think they're going anywhere with that.
Okay.
So the moment does say the Sentinels and the Red TARDIS are gone.
Oh, that's right. She does say that.
So, if you believe her.
You saved Aramuko.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you believe her?
I like that they kept calling the terror between the dimensions the Maw. I love that term.
That's a good term.
The Maw.
It's another one of those great Gallifreyan weapon names.
Yeah, that would have been good. Overall, I thought it was a nice wrap up. I'm ready to be done with all of this though, and move on to something completely new.
See, I would like to see more. I would like to see 12 and Gabby together. I think their companion dynamic would be very interesting.
I hope that's what they're setting up. I think because the 12th Doctor, for the most part, had been companionless, with the exception of they obviously brought Bill in. Yeah, and there at the end. But I kind of wonder if year 4 is a way to give Gabby a continuing story, but with a different Doctor. And because of all of these books that are running month to month, this has felt like the most crowded. Now, we did have quite a crowded TARDIS there with 11 when we had
in year 2.
Yeah, with Absalom Dak and River Song and yeah. But
year 3 has pared that back a lot.
Yeah,
with the
and this one we brought back Cleo, but we've always had Cindy and Gabby, and it seems like
Anubis is coming gone.
So I think this gives them a chance to kind of keep maybe Cindy around and explore more relationship of her and the Doctor.
Yeah, but
bringing Cleo on board and establishing the relationship that they have now with her and between her and Cindy kind of makes you wonder if maybe Cleo stuck around for another
I wonder
year.
That too.
So I suppose we'll see.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah, I like Cleo as a character.
I was glad they brought her back for sure. Anything else, Keith, that comes to your mind?
I still love the fact that I don't know what to call it, but it's the original TARDIS effect, or the Vortex effect is still being used for Gabby's powers and stuff.
I would agree.
I love that. That's about it.
All right. Well, Sean, what do we got coming up? Now we'll let you step back in here. What do you got coming up? You're good and ready though with the schedule.
I'm ahead for this week.
You're actually ahead of the game.
So this week is what I read. The Titan Comics 11th Doctor Year 3, number 12 and 13, and the 12th Doctor Year 3, 10 through 13. So we're going to catch up on all the Titan comics, and that'll bring us up to date on all of the runs, at least of the new Doctors that are in play. And then a reminder that the following week is a book review of the new Lethbridge Stewart, The Laughing Gnome, Scary Monsters, which I understand is making its way into people's hot little hands all over the UK and US. And we always encourage you to go to Candy Jar and order a copy if you haven't yet. And I look forward to reading Mr. Simon Forward's work, because I've heard it's a bang-up, knock-up novel. And then we have, I don't know, some epiversary thing coming up beyond that.
Is that it? It seemed like there was one other...
Oh, and then I think the new show comes back after that.
When were we... But the epiversary we were going to do... You don't want to talk about what we're doing for the epiversary?
We are going to be reviewing something. Show?
Well, yeah, we're going to be, doing some fun and games. We're going to play Flux, and we're going to maybe play Clue. I don't know if we've decided on that one for sure. And the Road to the 13th Doctor comics, numbers 1 through 3.
So more Titan on the schedule.
Titan comics. But that will lead us right into the new series. That's where you were going with it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yep. All right. And if...
you act like there's a new series coming out or something.
If people want to support the show financially, what do they do?
Well, you can go to our website and click on the Patreon link, and we certainly encourage you to do so. Or you can go to patreon.com/travelingthevortex and donate your money that way. And any amount is very much appreciated and welcome, and all amounts go right back into producing this show.
Cool. Anything else we need to touch on before we close this one?
I don't think so.
All right. That's going to do it for this time. Until next time, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
Thanks for listening.
United.
Apparently, we're not so united. We're supposed to all say...
Temps ununited.
I think we're all supposed to say thanks for listening together because we're united.
Oh.
Do the right homework.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.